everybody, Dan Illman, Mike here, taking a look at the DRF race of the day, Wednesday, July the 24th. Race number 7 at the Spa. Let's throw up the field for the honorable miss. It's a grade 2 handicap. $200,000 is the purse for fillies and mares. Your filly on the outside, the 8 Money's Gold, the 2-to-1 morning line favorite. She was third in the test last year. She always showed quality. She has fast races. She came back blazing during the Belmont Stakes Festival meetup at the Spa.
First back from a long layoff last time. Dan, listen, it was a track that was kind of speed, and she made an easy early lead in there, but it was just another good performance and another fast race for her.
Mike mentioned that she did make the lead in that race. Timeform US realizes there's another fast filly in this race, and that's the number 6, Spirit Wind, who's coming off of a victory at Lone Star Park. She has speed. She's also shown the ability to sit. I guess Money's Gold drawing outside gives Arad Ortiz plenty of options.
It does. We'll see how aggressive they get with Spirit Wind, Dan. I mean, I don't know. I kind of looked at it and felt like Money's Gold was faster if Irad wanted the lead. We'll see how he decides to play it.
If the pace is hot, keep an eye on the number 5, Sterling Silver. Note the LP flag over her chiclet. That indicates she has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. She might get a better setup than last time when she was wired in a stakes race at Aqueduct. We'll start things off, however, with the number 1, Exceed, going out for trainer Chad Brown. All of her dirt sprint races are good. She's won her last 3, including this race, the grade 2 Bed of Roses. Irad rode her on this day, has her in between horses turning for home. She's going to find the split. She's going to shoot on through, and she's going to get it done.
She's got a good trip in this race overall. She did cause some trouble at the start of this race, Dan, breaking outward and bumping a bunch of horses. But after that, she was fast enough to get forward, sat in behind. This is a pretty good horse who had trouble at the start. A pretty good horse making a run at her. I don't know about you, Dan. To me, Exceed was never letting her get by in there. I thought she ran really well again, and it just kind of feels like she's found herself as a sprinter this year.
And she just has that tactical speed where she can work out a good trip right behind the leaders. Maybe a similar journey as last time, old Inside Out. This time, Flavien Prat takes them out. The 2 is Everyone Loves Linda, who returns to her preferred service after a turf experiment in the Grade 2 Intercontinental. Here's what she did the last time she stepped on the dirt. Second level allowance over muddy going in New York. She was in behind. She gets to the outside. She's going to run right by this leader. I like that she was able to stay close to a pretty fast pace here.
Yeah, it's a solid win. You're right there, because the pace was pretty quick, and she was able to sit off of it, get clear, and still, run a representative race. Prior to this, she'd always been kind of a speedy type of horse who wanted to lead. She showed she doesn't need it in here, and I guess that's a good thing because she can't make the lead against this field. It still feels like she's overmatched by these horses.
Freedom Speaks, the number 3, is still seeking her first victory on dirt, although she did earn a stakes placing in her second lifetime start back in 2022, sprinting on the dirt. Her most recent start came at Woodbine. Long layoff. She probably needed the race. She ran on okay. Pretty big step up in class, however.
It's a big step up in class. She has that surface question to answer, Dan, because, I mean, she's run fine on the dirt in her couple of tries on it, but it's unclear if this is really her best surface. She's also entered in the Caress on turf on Thursday. That kind of feels like a better spot to me for her, but she's, if nothing else, she's a wild card in here because I do believe she has some talent.
Clearly unhinged, the number 4 looks like a strong contender for Steve Asmussen. Last year, when trained by Michael McCarthy, she was good enough to be second in the test, finishing ahead of Money's Gold, third in the Grade 1 La Brea. She's now 2 for 2 since Asmussen took over, Mike, and is another horse that is somewhat tactical and can sit just off the pace.
I liked her last year, and I think she did do some good things, even though they sort of pressed on with her into some pretty tough races early on, Dan. I liked her. I thought she had talent. Her first 2 races this year are good. And she's just going to have to build on those 2 performances, I think, to beat this field. I still think there's something there with her, and I think she's a contender in here, but I want to wait and see what kind of price she is. I wouldn't take too short a price on her.
The third place finisher from that last race did come back to win a stake at Prairie Meadows with an 89 buyer. Sterling Silver is the number 5. She has a potent late kick when you give her enough pace, and I'm just sure she didn't get that setup last time out when they dropped her into New York bred competition in the Danson Renee Stakes. You see her cut the corner at the back of the pack. She got wired here. Were you disappointed that she was a little flat in the stretch? I mean, she's down inside. It looked like she wanted to get out. Now she's running along, and she doesn't even get second.
Yeah, maybe just having the rally inside isn't what she preferred, Dan. I don't know. I'm with you. Listen, she had enough excuses in here to be a little lenient because the pace wasn't there. I wanted her to finish second in here, and she doesn't even really come close to getting second. So in that regard, it was disappointing. This race is going to set up better for her. She's a very capable closer. She's underrated. She's held her own in graded stakes races in the past. There's enough to like here if she's the right kind of price.
Spirit Wind just found the perfect spot last time out in this race at Lone Star Park for trainer Sappy Joseph. Mike Smith aboard. Spirit Wind was a prohibitive favorite. Pushed the leader early, pushed the button, did Smith on the turn. She takes over the lead, and as you can see, she's never really challenged in the stretch. She gets figures in her races.
She's fast. I'll be honest, I wanted to like her a little bit more than I actually wound up liking her in this race. Then, I mean, she's obviously a really easy winner there, but I mean, you could tell she was going to win that race from, about 3 jumps out of the gate. Those horses just couldn't go with her. And so, I don't know. I didn't want to give her too much credit for earning a 98 by her speed figure. And then I had to ask myself, would I bet her off of any of her other races? I don't know. Maybe I would, but I probably wouldn't bet her at 3-1.
Hot Fudge was on fire for a while. She reeled off 5 consecutive victories. Linda Rice had to step her up into the graded stakes ranks, and she's done okay in her 3 races there, finishing 3rd in her last 2. No match for Exceed last time out in the Bed of Roses, but she wound up farther back than usual and had to come very wide.
Last couple of races, she hasn't really gotten forward. It had been her, her running style had been to be forward for most of her career. The last 2 starts, she hasn't really gotten there. It was a pretty fast pace in the vagrancy 2 starts back. I thought she actually ran pretty well in that spot, and she ran pretty well again last time, Dan, to just get up for 3rd. I mean, I still think she's underrated, but she's one of those horses who doesn't really have that one race where if everybody else shows up in here, I'm not sure that she can beat them.
Money's Gold, number 8, won her first 3 starts in the manner of a superstar. She won by open lengths here in triple-digit buyer speed figures in 2 of those 3 starts. When they stepped her up in class, though, she couldn't seal the deal while running well. Todd Pletcher gave her an extended layoff before this race at Belmont, dropping her into a first-level allowance. As Mike mentioned, Speed did very well during this Belmont Stakes Racing Festival meet. Money's Gold went right to the front. Hey, she shows no rust off the layoff.
No, she was very sharp in here. She never gives this field a chance. I think it's at least worth noting the horse that runs, a pretty good second to her here has already come back to run well again at the Saratoga meet. So I think she beat a good field here, and she did it convincingly, Dan. She's the horse to beat in this race. I don't think there's any real denying that, but it's not like she doesn't still have something to prove. So, we'll see how short she is come post time of this race. I think she's the horse to beat, but I wouldn't be terrified to take a shot against her.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time, honorable miss handicap. You're going with Exceed. Again, I still can't find a bad dirt sprint. She's going to be a solid price.
Just going to hope that she can get the right trip in here, Dan. She'll have to sit off the pace somewhere, but she's shown that she's comfortable doing that. Maybe she comes clear in time and she can get to this favorite on the lead.
Spirit Wind's going to have to prove it against better horses. That was just so easy of a spot for her last time out at Lone Star, but I really like the way her speed might play out in here. I think she might be quicker than Money's Gold, and hopefully she can get to the front for Sappy Joseph. 6841 for me, 1854 for Mike. It's the grade 2 honorable miss on a Wednesday afternoon at the Spa. Good luck.